This has been going on for a number of years. South Africa has been facing chronic levels of corruption and state capture. And the issue now with Pravin Gordhan is the fact that there's been a battle for access towards treasury. President Zuma, and through the Gupta family, often people say that the Guptas have captured the state. No, the Guptas have only captured Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma has worked on a systematic project to capture state institutions. He started with the National Prosecuting Authority. He's worked his way through the SAPC and state-owned enterprises. And now, more critically, to sustain a project such as the nuclear deal or massive infrastructure project, you need quick access to treasury. And it was more, in fact, it came to light more when there was a change of finance minister in December. And that battle has never been settled and has continued ever since. So our big concern is the fact that not only is there a pursuit towards access towards that and access towards more funding for projects that South Africans simply cannot afford, it undermines the very ability of the finance minister. And I think it's well within the president's power to intervene and be able to direct and say, if the Hawks have got a legitimate case, they must be able to put it forward, and it must be done within the confines of the law. But this destabilizing of Treasury and the finance minister certainly is hurtful to our economy, and it is not helpful to the stability of our country in general.
The Guptas believe that they are part of media capture, that they've been unfairly treated and that no one has ever charged them. What do you say about that?
Of course, there can be no charges against the Guptas because, as I said earlier, they have not captured the state. They've only captured Jacob Zuma. But if you control organs of state such as the National Prosecuting Authority and the Hawks, of course there aren't going to be charges against this particular family. But what has never been clarified by the Guptas is that what power did they have to offer positions in cabinet to ministers? It's always been quite clear. Even the contract between Eskom and one of their own Gupta companies reeks of irregularity, simply because how do you offer substandard coal? That contract even had some of the prepayment done to it, which is a deviation from standard operating procedure even at Eskom, is an indicator that here is a family of businesses who have been highly favored for reasons inexplicable. And more seriously, the South African taxpayer is being defrauded of millions of rand. And we are of the view that ultimately it must be a question about saying, how do we handle Jacob Zuma and his power that he's exerting, and how do we bring stability to South Africa so that we have a finance minister who works, and we ultimately have a presidency whose primary interest isn't in enterprises such as this case, but really dealing fundamentally with the development and the well-being of the people of this country.